Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pretty Smart. And that is what a surprise. Darvinique is in the chat, first in with the love. And if you guys don't know out there, Darvinique is the original cast member when we used to do this with two people on a couch. So she will always be welcome. But today is a great topic. Once we get started, the lady's going to do most of the talking, not me, because it ain't my show. um, but dating in 2025. And what's the beautiful thing about today is we have Natalie in her young 20s. Dree, I'm just going to say she's in her young 30s. Okay. And then we have Lynn is in her 60s. So we're talking about dating in 2025 from three different aspects, which is always great because not only people in their 20s date, right? We have people that are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 that date. So, first, let's just jump right into it. Um, what's the beauty about dating in 2025? Because I know some people say, hey, it does make it a lot easier in that first impression because now you've talked online a lot and now you meet first and you're not as nervous as before when you just met up. But I'll let you ladies start. Go ahead, Natalie.
I think it's definitely a lot of learning lessons. Um, like I had a good boyfriend once. Like I had a good experience with that, but that didn't work out. And I feel like there's just a lot of learning lessons. Everybody else has just been kind of like a lot of learning lessons, and it's not super easy to date nowadays. I feel like, I mean, I can't compare it to what it was like before the internet, but I would imagine it's a little less of a lot of people think they have access to all these people because of the internet. So in reality, they may not, but in their head, they're like, oh, if I break up with this girl, I'll just go find another one, like on the internet. So I don't know if it's always been like this, but that's been my experience.
It hasn't. So, Lynn, the one thing she just said is access, right? When you and I were younger, we're not the same age. Well, even Dree, you're early 30s, so you remember before cell phones, before everybody had a cell phone. When you were a kid, everybody didn't have a cell phone, but you probably weren't dating. But when you were a kid, me and Lynn were, and people you were dating didn't have this much access to you. They couldn't text you every second of the day, even if they wanted to. And I feel like that's a thing that's sorely missed because you had to call somebody on that house phone. And if I went home, you weren't getting me.
Yeah, but you know what else? The other thing, and actually, I just had a conversation with a gentleman friend of mine a few minutes ago when I was talking about coming on the show. And we were talking about the difference in having dating someone because you meet them in shared experiences or shared environments, whether it was church, whether it was college, whether it was on campus, whether it was basketball games or the stuff that we did. And I hate to use this, but it's true, in community. Now I'm just like, who is that? I'm so leery of online connections because the difference is you can say anything, type it. But whether I'm gonna work with you, whether you gonna feel like somebody I want to be around when I meet you in person, is a whole different thing. So you don't have the safety net in some ways of people around you in shared environments on campus, that you do when you deal with everything online.
Well, Lynn, you better get that webcam working. Dree, chime in.
So I believe yes, the safety net. I just believe now it. I mean, it was now. I just believe like yes, it's more online dating, and I just believe it's a little bit more scarier because, like you said, and it is people online like they what do they call it, catfish, like it's catfish now. People are using other people's pictures. So I don't like to online date. I do not date like if somebody hits me up or I need to meet you organically. Like I like a organic connection. I don't really like the
Right,
online thing. It's scary. I think it's scary.
Well, I think it's scary because people are using it wrong. Why are we online dating? I will meet someone online and then once I meet them in person, decide if the dating part enters the equation. You have people that are literally dating people that they've never met.
right,
So that's what I think people think about when they think about online dating. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like conversing with somebody, then meeting them in person. And if you're going to do that, of course, if I'm going to talk to you online and meet you in person, we better have some webcam conversations before that happens. If you have an excuse every time
right,
you're going on webcam, or for you iPhone people, you want to FaceTime and they always have an emergency when it's time to FaceTime, that's the
right.
red flag,
That's a red flag, right?
right? But I like what Teresa says. Teresa says, I look at dating as collecting applications for a position, trying to find out who is qualified for the position. And I'm 64.
Hell yeah, Teresa.
That's right.
Look, girl, I saw that. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I have been single for 19 years, and
So
it's
you've been single since you were 40? All right.
all of hey, we that's right. I've been
She ain't
single
having no headache. She
for
don't got
19 years. And I mean, dating, I tried, I did the apps, and that was like, I'm like, this swipe left, swipe right, profile. I'm like, that's like shopping, at a grocery store. I don't have time for that. It was creepy. I didn't feel like, and people, whatever the phrase is, when they like you, and you're supposed to decide whether you want to talk to them. I'm like, what is this? I could never ever get into that.
Hey, it doesn't
I
fit
did
right.
that once. And I kind of liked the whole swiping thing, you know what I mean? But then when I met him in person, I was like, see, this
Well,
is why I don't like online dating
I
because
think I like the swiper thing for the same thing because we try to not be shallow and we try to say everyone's attracted, be politically correct and all that. But we already know if you're not physically attracted to somebody, it's probably not going far in the beginning,
Right.
right? Unless
exactly.
you've known them for some time. So it does help you weed out people you aren't physically attracted to, and then you can go from there. But Lynn, I don't see a difference in that. And then when my parents used to date, because back then you had your little black book, you met people, you wrote their numbers down. Each number was in a different section for whatever different thing. You had your friend that you knew you could call to go to the movies with. You had the friend you know you could call to hang out with. You know, you the friend you knew what part of the black book to call when you wanted the back blown out. So you knew which one. Am I lying, Lynn?
No,
Right. So all you're now
I know
doing
that
is
part now. No.
hey, Dre, listen, I know what I want my back blown out where it's going. I'm going. You don't even worry about that. Keone will always be my love. Darminique, stop. Dre's online.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Darminique is my internet wife. So me and her
Yes,
disagree on
yes.
what y'all are
We
saying.
love you, Dominique. Yes.
No,
Uh,
but you do say things, and you know what? And also, I'm also thinking from a male perspective, right? So online dating, of course, is going to be more dangerous for a female than it is a male. The one thing I do not agree is if you're on, well, Lynn, back in the day they had blind dates.
yeah.
Um, you should always be meeting someone in a public place if it's your first date and you met online. I don't understand women who invite a man that they've never met in person to their home.
Oh no.
Talk about it, Natalie.
I don't either. I don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Thank you for the
I said
in-depth
don't do that.
analysis, Natalie. Dree, talk about Natalie does this every now and then, Lynn. I throw the ball in her corner. She goes, "Yeah, I don't like that."
Yeah,
It's just
okay, I know. I see that. I see that. Yeah, that's Natalie. Hmm.
You can't you can't come to my house because my house is my safe place. It's my peaceful place. It's my, place where I meditate. Like I don't invite men to my house because we all have different spirits and people that we deal with, but
Mhm.
Okay.
men, they just be having a lot going on. They have a lot of shit going on, and I don't want them to bring their extra spirits and their extra shit to my house and leave their shit and baggage at my house. So no, I really need to be like loving you, and you know, we there. We need to be all up in here before I decide for you to come over here and bring your baggage. Because no,
Ooh, now you're gonna hate me for this one, Dre, because you're exactly right. But it does work on both sides. Because
no, I know,
the
no.
last girl I invited to my house back in the day, she showed up, and then her baby daddy showed up to drop the kid off.
Oh
How
hell
you,
no! See,
how
see,
Oh
you be?
no.
I was like, how you give your baby daddy my address?
he followed me. See, no.
No, she at least told the truth. She gave him the address. While we were talking, she kept texting us. What are you texting? She's like, oh, I was texting my baby daddy about my son. First of all, she never told me that. But then she didn't say I was texting him to bring him here. So like then he brought her there, and I was like, wait a minute, you got dropped off here.
And you have your
No, I just figured you could take me and my son back. So I can't seem like a loser. I mean, not a loser, but just this guy like I invited you over to do something, but now I can't take you and your son. So it just put me in a very weird place.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's weird anyway.
Why would why would she just assume you could take her and her son? Like
And that was like 2003. So I couldn't even call her an Uber.
or Uber, okay.
I
Right.
couldn't call her an Uber.
Like,
They
oh,
play
Uber here.
And so what I told her was, I said, Darvinique, don't do that ever again. No, I'm just kidding.
not Darvin.
Right, right. Dominic, stop it.
Well, but
I don't got no kids.
Lynn, you said you've been single for, Darvinique has two kids.
Okay,
You said you've two wonderful kids. You said you've been single for 19 years, but does that mean you haven't gone on a date?
she dating.
No, I've had I've dated probably after 15 years. I mean, I never met anybody I wanted to go out with.
You
Okay,
like?
so that's two different things. Yeah, so I get
That's
that.
two different things.
Yeah.
And I mean, please understand though that I mean, I was single that long because my husband passed. So
Right.
I had grief and all of that stuff to go
Mhm.
through. But then I got to a point where I had to decide emotionally, where am I ready to be or not be? So I'm still figuring some of that out. But I also know that I'm very independent. I got my own. People tell me, Lynn, you're not open for dating because I'm like, yeah, if the right person comes along, but because I make time to do anything I want to do. But
Well, I
honey,
want to make
if
a
you don't touch my spirit and make me feel like I want to hang out with you, I ain't got time. I gotta go coach a class or I gotta go do.
I want to make a clear distinction though. So I want to make sure we separate dating, like actually actively dating or being in a relationship with somebody, and just like going out to dinner with someone. Have
Right.
you? That's what I'm saying. Have you done that? Like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's where I'm getting about. And with you in 2025, of course, thinking 19 years ago, that's a big difference in how you used to. Well, you didn't have to back then. You were married.
Well, but see, the other thing too is that all of the relationships I ever had or cultivated came out of shared experiences. We were in college. We were mostly in college together, high school together, or whatever, and you hung in circles that all of a sudden you decided, okay, we hang out. Let's take this a little bit further. But now just trying to meet somebody that you have something in common with is, I find, difficult to do, especially given where I am at this point in my life.
Communication, Dre. So I was talking about it a little earlier. When I was in my 20s, you couldn't text me 45 times a day or call me every day. Do you feel like now the person that you're going out on dates with has way too much access to you?
Hell yeah. We got Instagram, we got Snapchat, we got texting, we got calling. Like, yes, because, and now I feel like, I mean, it just depends on the type of person you meet, you know what I mean? But I feel, I feel like guys are just a little bit more controlling. The guys I've been meeting, I've been dating, they want me, they want you to like text back fast or what are you doing? It's like before you, first of all, I have a life. You know what I mean? And I work, I do things on the side. So you're added to my list, my things of to do. So it's like you're not on the list. I mean, I haven't checked you off yet. That's why I haven't texted you back. You know what I
Right.
mean? 'Cause I have like 100,000 other things I'm doing before I'm gonna text you back and give you my time. You know what I mean? And I really hate a man that is persistent about, oh, well, how you didn't respond. You got too much time on your hands. I need my man busy.
I'm gonna clip that so it just has you saying, "I hate a man." That's all I'm
Right.
gonna have.
Right.
I'll
Oh,
just
don't
cut
do
it off.
that.
I
Don't
will
do
cut
that.
it off right there. I hate a man. I
Don't
just
do
cut it
that
off.
to me.
No, that be the thing too. And like sometimes when you like, let's say you're on vacation and you just end up texting somebody a lot while you're, and then you go back to work. You're like, "Why is your text load down?" Well, I'm back. I'm back in. I'm not on vacation no more. I'm back.
I'm back in my bag.
Oh, Natalie, I got something for you, but I want to read Teresa's comment first. Teresa says, "My online dating is always met up on my terms. I choose the place and the time, and they either accept it or not. I always put that out there. I drive my own vehicle, my phone on record." Jesus Christ.
You
You
said,
know
"Why
what?
bored?"
I was going to say, chill out, Teresa, but you know what? I'm going
No.
to flip that. I'm glad she does that. Because you know what I'm tired of when trying to go on a date with a woman? You know what I used to be tired of? Where do you want to go? Well, wherever you want to eat. Okay, how about this place? No. How about this place? No. How about this place? I don't like that. How about this place? I don't like that. How about well then where do you want to eat? I don't know. You pick something. That is I think y'all do that on purpose just to see how long it takes us to blow our top.
No.
Well, 'cause some women just don't be knowing what they like. Me, I have a list of places I want to go eat. So if
Well,
you date me,
well,
I'm a,
give me the list, but don't give me the whatever you want, and then turn down the first 50 things
Right.
that I feel like Jared from the tractor when he said, "You know how to stop your woman telling you to order for me?" He said he told a meal that he ordered that was so terrible. He's like, the next 20 years of our marriage, she never asked me to order again.
Right. Right. I get that. I get that. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you, I'm one of those sisters that's like, you asked me out on the
Hmm.
date.
Hmm.
I like when somebody knows me well enough to make the suggestion and say, "Well, what do you think about?" You know, because
That's the
living in,
trap, though.
huh? Why is that a trap?
Because when I say what we like, we end up in the same thing. When I'm allowed to pick the place, sometimes I just say, "We're going here." I don't even want to hear anything about it. Because if I've never been on a date with you, I'm going to pick a place that I like to eat. That
Hmm.
way, if it's a terrible date, at least I know I had a good meal that I was
You had a good
satisfied
meal,
with.
right?
Yeah. Natalie, how has 2025, especially with technology, made being in a relationship more complicated? Like, I know you and we've talked together at lunch and we'll talk about different stories of people finding out their man is doing certain thing because of an Instagram post and things like that. So, how do, has it made it has it made being in a relationship easier or has it made it worse?
Hmm. I mean, if you have a good guy, it shouldn't be any worse. Or a guy who considers your feelings first. But yeah, that is a big thing now because you can just find like you're scrolling and you see your man and this girl's like bikini posts like okay, like you like what you see, you know what I mean? Or a guy you're talking to, like you see him in a girl's likes, especially in a picture like that, or she's like in a nice dress, or like some stuff like that, and you see that, and it's like obviously you like what you see, like and they'll be like, oh, well, I was just scrolling by tapping, and it's like, well, you weren't considering me, if that's true, So,
How do you feel about that, Drew? Because I always think it's just batshit crazy be concerned with the picture that was liked on Instagram
Right.
of some chick that lives in Minnesota and you live in Florida.
So let me tell you, because I was dating some guy, right? And he was like, "You're never gonna catch me." Like, and this is the thing
Oh,
about dating. They all be lying. Everybody be lying in the beginning. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's right now. Now there's so many people talking online. There's so many podcasts. There's so many people talking about relationships that everyone has their opinions of relationships and how things should go and how things should be, right? But I really believe it's just all up to the individual. You know what I mean? It's all up to how whatever your values and morals are. But this guy was like basically he was like, we're talking about texting, right?
anything.
Anyways, he basically was just like, damn, I forgot my train of thought. I just lost my train of thought right now.
You was too busy bashing. No, okay. So first of all, everybody does it. Darvinique knows this. That's why she loves me. I have never cheated on any man, woman that I've ever dated or were married to.
Right.
We don't all do it. It's what Natalie said, thinking of their feelings first. I of course, just like any man or woman, I've had opportunities to cheat. We all do. Cheating is just opportunity and time, right? Uh, but their feelings always popped up in my head.
And that's beautiful. So I look at it like this because because I remembered the guy said, "You're never gonna catch me liking a girl's pictures on Instagram," and I caught him liking. I mean, I clicked the little link at the top and shows you all the people what they like, what your friends
Yeah.
like. I clicked it. I said, I wonder what he's liking. Liking a girl shaking her, twerking her little booty, showing her feet, like just like a little sexual reel or whatever. And I just laughed at it because I was just like, people always want to put up this image of I'm
Mhm.
this person. You know what I mean? I'm this person. It's just like, just be real. Like, honestly, liking stuff doesn't bother me
Right.
because, like Natalie said, you like what you like. You know what I mean? You like that. And if you're liking that, you're liking that. I don't look at that as you're not considering my feelings. It's something that you like, something that you saw. You're on Instagram. We're all on Instagram. We're all on social media, looking at things that we like. You know what I'm saying? So,
Your
shit, you
problem is
like
something that
it.
Your
I
problem
the,
is something that I've told guys before. It's not even the act, it's the line that wasn't even necessary around it. I would
Right.
never tell
Right.
somebody I'm not going to like pictures. That's just stupid. That's just setting
Right,
yourself up for failure.
right.
I said that because I had Patsy's like my first boyfriend. Like I would see him in likes, and he would get on me for other stuff. But like I would see him in girls' likes, and I'd be like, "Oh, well, who's this?" Like, because I would have no. It's just some girl from our college. I'm like, "Oh, who's this?" And I'm like, like, do you know her? Like, whatever. And he just he would kind of like avoid the question and be like, "Oh yeah, just brush it off." Come to find out, he was cheating on me with like multiple other girls,
That
like
he was
on
liking.
social media, and so it's like to me, like in every I would see him in other girls' likes, and some of them were the ones that he was cheating on me with. So it's like that to me, like I had that experience, and like I've had some other guys like I don't think because I know guys like after me and both my exes broke up, they would still follow me, but they wouldn't like my posts anymore. So it's like you're not, you know what I mean? You're looking at who it is, and it's
Who
like
you dealing with?
so I think a lot of guys, at least my age now, are very like they can be intentional with that, and so that's why I like
That's the
I
Oh,
difference.
Natalie, you don't even have to worry about your age. I'm 47. I am very intentional. I have my read receipts on. You
You
will
said
never know if I read your text unless I want to be petty. I turn my read receipts on
right.
just so
Right.
you can see that I read
Right.
the text that you sent me. Oh,
Right.
it's so,
See, I think maybe because of my generation, and it's about relationship, not just dating. It's about, you know, first off, I'm a very confident sister. So, and bottom line is, I tend to think like, look, I got enough to offer. You better hope you can keep up with me versus me trying to figure out that I got to keep up with you. But the bottom line is this: I'm the type of person that if my heart and my head don't go together and say, oh, you're important to me, then yeah, you're going to be in the list of things that I got to do. All right. And when I decide I need or want more of that, I'm never going to be the sister. Even with the man that I married, I said, look, when we met, I knew he was dating somebody else, but nobody was committed, like in love of whatever. And it was a point in time I said, you know what? When I decide in my spirit that I want more out of the relationship, it's not about demanding that from you. I'm gone. Then you decide whether you
Now,
want
Lynn, you
what you're
said you was gonna leave the story of when you stole my daddy from my mama out the podcast today, and you gonna throw it in there anyway.
say what
That's
now?
messed up. I ain't repeating it. Well, I think people need to also understand there is a difference between going on a date
Right,
and dating. Don't be afraid to go on a date, but the problem is sometimes you go on a date with a person, they be in love after the first date. It's like, hey, dial it back a little bit.
right. Hold up.
I ain't even give you none yet, and you acting crazy.
Right.
Have
Heaven
y'all had that
forbid. Right,
experience?
Story of my life.
Well,
right.
Lynn, you're past that age of some good will make you make bad decisions. So like you're like a full grown woman, you know.
Uh,
Natalie's still
wait a
in
minute,
the
hold up. I got friends. They've nicknamed me Gaw, GAW,
Oh.
why did
a
they name
grown
you
ass
that?
woman. Okay, so
Okay. All right.
but
So hopefully Natalie's out of that stage, right, Natalie?
What?
That some good can make you make some bad decision.
It's never that good.
Her face. I need to introduce you to some different men, Natalie. Then.
Oh, like I just like it's not worth it. Like it's not worth your
No,
sanity.
She
yeah,
just
we're joking, but it's not. It is not. It is not worth your sanity. We're
it's
joking, but
not.
you are definitely correct that it's not worth your sanity, right?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
big.
Another thing that you guys can experience that Lynn didn't have to experience is when you don't want to talk to someone or talk to them anymore, but you can't even go out to a bar or a club or somewhere, an event, and post about it at current time because they will pop up.
Right.
Have you ever had that experience, Dre or Natalie?
Wait, so I'm sorry. I'm so tired.
Like someone that, oh, wait, what happened to you today? Oh, she's been working. She's had a long day.
I had school all day and then practice. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, wait, practice. Are you back
I'm
doing?
cheering again this year. My senior
She's back to cheering. What? That
year.
is crazy. She cheers at NC State, Dre, and she had to stop
So
a couple
cute.
years ago because the coach was batshit crazy. But that coach is not the coach anymore. So
Yeah.
now
God.
she's back to cheering. That's why you should have told me that. I would have let you take the night off.
Well, no one else said anything. He said,
She's so dedicated. I love her. I owe you a pizza. I,
yeah, we
I
need
owe
to go
you.
get lunch or something soon.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh,
Um,
let me tell you about my experience with a guy recently.
go ahead. Oh,
This guy, he's an old ex from like years ago.
oh, whew, I thought you was going somewhere else.
He
Okay.
recently followed me on Instagram. He's followed me like 3 times in like the last 3 weeks, but he just recently followed me on Instagram, and he changed his name, like the name that you use to your Instagram name,
Mm-hmm.
to like my fitness page name. So my fitness page name is Teflon Fit, and he put his name Teflon Dog, and he started liking all of my pictures and shit. And I don't talk to him. Like I haven't talked to him in years. So that's some weird shit. That's going on in 2025. You changing your name, Instagram names to the girl that you like or you want to be with or date. Like, and he started liking my pictures. And I didn't even respond because I felt like that was just a reach. I felt like that was like attention. Like, hello, do you see me? And I'm like, I see you. I see you crazy as hell.
Natalie, how would you react to going on a date with a guy? Because I'm going to read some scenarios that were put in here from the real world. Nelly, how would you react to a guy that you go on a date with, and then when you go on date number two, you realize they have your name tattooed on them?
See,
I'd be asking if that his mama or something. Like,
Oh, it wasn't there before.
oh, I would probably like act like everything is fine because I wouldn't want to bring it up and then them be like a psycho and like murder me. So I'd probably just play it cool and then leave and never speak to them again and block them on everything.
How are you handling that situation, Drake?
I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back. I'm leaving. You're nuts.
I'm out. Right.
This
Nuts.
better this better be one of those people that you met for the first time in a public space and not at
Yep,
your.
it is. We go in public everything.
So Natalie just said something really interesting because it's a hard thing to do. Because if you notice it, maybe you didn't notice it before, and you go, why is my name tattooed on your neck? That's my sister who died of cancer 10 years ago. Thank you. But see, that could be Natalie. That could be, Betty. That could be Susan. But Dree, that's a stretch.
No, no, no. Yeah.
That is a no. Like, no, you're lying. Mm-mm.
That
I'm
is.
out here.
I'd be like, who's
And by the way, that's a fresh tat.
Right. It's real dark.
Right. That's a fresh tat.
that?
You said you could see the little oil medication on it.
Yes, yeah. You still got Aquaphor, baby. You just did that, right?
He's doing things that they ain't doing now.
Mm, mm, mm.
The
Okay,
opposite
here we
of
go.
that.
Guy goes on a date. I'm leaving names out, of course. Guy goes on a date, takes woman on a date, and it's at one of these nice restaurants. It's like a steak is like $85 at this restaurant. And she complained that where he took her wasn't high class. She wanted to go eat at one of the rotating needle top buildings in one of these cities, and it's like a $350 reservation, and then the meals are expensive. And to the guy's point, he was like, "This is a first date." She's like, "Well, if you don't feel that this is good enough for me on a first date, then we don't need to go on a second one."
She's playing in the wrong league, or he's playing in the wrong league. Somebody's playing in the wrong league.
Oh my God, she said somebody's playing in the wrong league.
Somebody's in the wrong league, and quite frankly, I'm about to. I wanted to respond for the brother.
Uh,
Okay, no meals on you tonight. I'm out. Go on to the rooftop. Okay.
what I would have did to be petty, Natalie, I would have left. I would have went to the rooftop and I would have ate dinner by myself and took a picture and posted it.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I would have done that. I don't think some people understand what this means when it says you've outkicked your coverage, you should be okay. Like for instance, I knew when I married my wife, I outkicked my coverage. I went well beyond the standard of what I thought I could bring in, and
Hmm.
so I was very happy. But you have people that are outkick their coverage and they'll still cheat or do something stupid. But one of you mentioned something earlier, and I want to talk about this before we wrapped up. We talked about in 2025 dating, you have all of these social media influencers and podcasts and people doing it. And the thing that I find sad is you'll get some woman who's deemed so beautiful and the things that she's telling people to do are not conducive for a healthy relationship, but they'll listen to her because she's beautiful. And then when she gets cheated on, and if everybody's following me that watches a lot of YouTube, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Then when she gets cheated on, you get a bunch of ladies saying, well, if she gets cheated on, we have no hope. When she has not presented one healthy thing that would benefit you in a healthy relationship. So, what do you guys think about all of these social media influencers that talk about relationships? I know I'm not generalizing as a whole, but some of the we're just talking about the damaging ones.
I think they
Well,
need to shut up.
there's this one girl, like, she was, I don't know what she was preaching. I can't remember what exactly it was. Her name was like Wizard Liz. And she was,
Oh God, that's what I was talking about.
yes, she
Oh,
was preaching all that, like like, and some of the stuff she said, like, kind of made sense, whatever, but it was kind of just like common sense if you had like enough like self-esteem to know, and like stand up for yourself. It was kind of those things. But she was saying all this, preaching about how she would never let a man do that to her. Like, she basically is preaching, saying that she was like, she wasn't dumb enough to fall for a man's tricks, was basically what she was projecting. And then she got married in like 5 months, and then is pregnant by him. I don't know if she had it already. Then it came out that he cheated on her
He played all the tricks on her.
while they were engaged, and now she's pregnant with his baby, and they're split up, and he cheated on her. After
But
everything she just like preached,
but she preached a perfect route for that not to happen.
because he knew, he listened. He probably like studied her and figured out like, oh well, how do I act for her, and then
Yeah.
acted that way, and the whole time like, and
Yeah,
he
but I'm gonna put it less on him and less on her because, like I said, she's the empower of millions of women, right? And th- and here's the thing, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way as if I'm calling one person attractive and not another, because I don't even think she's not attractive to me. Okay, and everybody puts her on this high pedestal, but when you're telling people to do stuff, and we know in this world, if you look a certain way, you can get away with things, right? When you're telling people who aren't deemed in that same attractive lead to do stuff that you know that's not going to work, that's damaging. There are guys out here that will put up with a terrible attitude from a woman if she's a 7, 8, 9, or 7, 8, 9.
Mhm.
But if you come in there a 4, it's like, okay, we're gonna have that attitude with that look, and that's where and I'm not trying to be funny, but you get what I'm saying. That's not helpful. Listen, I'm not Tyson Beckford. I'm not sitting here and acting like I'm GQ, right? So I know when I'm presenting myself to people I want to date, I know where I have to check myself and not check myself
Mm.
because I know things aren't going to be put up in a certain way. I mean, am I stretching by saying that?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. But I think that so much in terms of dating, well, just, I'm sorry to say, social media, web, podcasts, all of that. So many people get their sense of who they are from somebody else. And
Right.
the one thing that people don't get is the chance to really learn how to communicate, interact, respond, grow, meld together. Everybody's got an anecdote for everything online. And when you don't have your own confidence and you don't feel like, how can you know what makes you happy when what makes you happy is determined by something else you see?
It's
Right.
so funny that you say that before the others because you know me, Lynn. I always like to talk about the generations, how they're all the same, even though we separate them. This has been done since the beginning. We were showing magazines and books from the 50s that told women how they should act around a man, how they should be around a man, and what makes a perfect wife. And most of the people who read and followed those books were absolutely miserable.
Right,
Absolutely
right.
miserable because basically it was telling you how to wait on me hand and foot, not have your own identity, not have your own life, not have this, not have that. And so I feel like it's always been around. It's just easily accessible now.
Ooh, it's in your
Everybody.
face.
But they've
Everybody.
been doing it, but they've been doing this game for a very, very long time. Natalie, before you croak.
sorry, I'm here.
She
Look,
acts like I just
I
called
don't
her.
know why I'm here, but I'm here, right?
I
I'll
feel
stop
like
there.
we're in class right now, and I just called her to answer a essay question. She's like,
Thank
"Yep."
you.
Natalie, I just said I can't repeat the whole thing I just said because I don't remember what I just said.
You're talking about social media and how people get their whole life from there.
See, this is why you and I broke up.
You don't listen now.
And she said,
This is
"Listen,
why.
I'm I'm on my last wavelength. I'm here trying.
Dree, wrap it up with your conclusion of what I was just talking about.
well, dang, I kind of forgot too, but anyway, I just feel like I just believe that overall, everyone needs, like Lynn said, their own identity, their own confidence in who they are, what they believe, whatever their morals, their values are. and date in that aspect and in that way. Like, don't date out of your league and think, oh, I'm like Kiani said, like, oh, I'm this bad bitch and you're a two. Like, no, bring it down, humble yourself, and date in your lane. You know what I mean? I think that we'll all be much happier if we trust our own instincts and not what these podcast people are saying and these relationship experts that probably aren't in relationships or haven't even been in a successful relationship.
And Natalie, I want to end with you, so I want to make sure you're crystal clear and can hear me. All right, you good?
Same here.
Is there any merit to? Here's a scenario that someone had. I've been in 8 relationships. They were all terrible. What makes me the most angry is everyone they did it after me. They treated them like they should have treated me. Who's the problem?
How do they know? Like just from social media, they think they're happy. Like all the other relationships.
Hmm.
Not everything. They could have been this. They could have been treated the same way, but were they still posting them and everything?
I'll give
I
you
mean,
an example. I'll give you an example. They didn't really go anywhere, do anything. They were always arguing, but now they see with the new person that they're at the beach, they're in Jamaica, they're here, they're there.
Right.
You know,
Who's the problem?
the person with 8 relationships probably. I'm not gonna like I can't put everything on one person because it takes two to tango, but
Exactly.
it gets to a point,
it takes two to
maybe
tango.
some reflection and therapy.
You're correct. It does take two to tango, but we always say this thing in math, right? There's this thing called a common denominator.
Common denominator.
So
Yeah,
it's this thing I was saying. Sometimes, and this isn't for men or women, it's for everybody. Sometimes when there's situations, the things that people won't do a lot is just stop for a second and say, what was my role in this
Right.
problem? Even
Hmm.
if your role was 5%, figure out your role first. Because sometimes when you stop and think about it, your role is a lot bigger than you thought it was.
Hmm.
And that's how we're supposed to learn from prior relationships. But we all know people who haven't. They're in their 40s and they're still making the same mistakes. Yes, I'm talking about you, Keone. All right, ladies. Thank you for a wonderful show tonight. Dree, you go on your good dinner. Lynn, you keep rocking. And Natalie, get some sleep.
All right. All right.
Because you look like you're in your 30s and you're only 21.
yeah.
Huh?
Eye bags didn't come to play today.
I'm just kidding. You look beautiful. You all look beautiful. Thank you, guys. See y'all next
Good
week.
night. See you
Good
later.
night.